All right, so we're back and ready for another deep dive. And today we're tackling the ancient Maya.
Ooh, fascinating civilization.
Yeah, and we've got some great excerpts from like a history text all about them. Should be interesting.
Sounds like it.
So get ready, everyone, because we're about to uncover some seriously cool stuff about this civilization that, thrived in the rainforests of Mesoamerica.
Thrived is right. I mean, it's kind of mind-blowing how they not only survived, but actually flourished in that kind of environment.
Right, like the rainforest, come on, it's not exactly a walk in the park.
No kidding.
Our source really highlights all those obstacles.
Yeah.
Dangerous animals, crazy dense vegetation, even farming must have been a nightmare with, barely any sunlight reaching the forest floor. So
Yeah.
how did they manage?
Well, they kind of turned those limitations into opportunities.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, like take their agriculture. Instead of fighting the rainforest, they came up with this really sophisticated system of raised bed agriculture.
Raised beds. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, so by elevating their crops, they could control the water levels, make drainage better, and even use that rich organic matter from the forest floor as fertilizer.
Wow, so they were working with the rainforest, not against it. Pretty smart.
Exactly. And it really shows how necessity breeds innovation.
Totally. What other adaptations did they have?
Well, their hunting techniques were super adaptable.
Okay.
They mastered all sorts of things like traps, snares, even blowguns. It allowed them to hunt all kinds of animals in that dense rainforest. And they weren't just randomly hunting, they carefully managed their resources.
That makes sense.
They understood that, sustainability was key to their survival.
Makes sense. It's really amazing how they balance survival with innovation.
Yeah.
And, our source mentions how their inventions were, really connected to their beliefs.
Oh, absolutely.
Can you tell us more about that?
Totally. Take their famous ball game, for instance.
Oh, yeah, everyone knows about that.
Right, but we tend to think of it as just a sport. But it was so much more. It was like a ritual tied to their mythology and how they saw the world. The game itself was symbolic, a battle between, good and evil, life and death. And the balls movement, that represented the sun and stars' journey.
Whoa, that's deep.
I know, right? And get this. The outcome could even influence political decisions or be seen as predicting the future. Some archaeologists even think it was connected to sacrifice, which shows just how important it was to their religion.
Wow, so it was way more than just a game. What about those incredible calendars they're known for? How did those reflect their beliefs?
Their calendars were incredible, so precise, and they clearly knew a lot about astronomy. They weren't just tracking time, though. They were weaving together practical stuff with their spiritual side.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
So the cycles of the sun, moon, and stars helped them know when to plant and harvest. But those cycles also determine when they'd have religious festivals and ceremonies.
Uh-huh. Imagine a society where nature's rhythms were that deeply connected to daily life.
Right. Pretty amazing.
It seems like honoring the gods was a big part of their lives. Our source talks about temples being places of offering. I'm picturing these massive structures that must have taken forever to build.
Oh, you're spot on. Building temples was a huge deal. You needed skilled workers and a deep understanding of architecture and engineering. But it wasn't just about the building itself, it was about connecting with the divine. Temples were placed in alignment with celestial events, and the carvings, the murals, they all showed stories of their gods and goddesses. It gives us a glimpse into their complex cosmology and beliefs.
Each temple was a window into their spiritual world. Speaking of windows, their writing system must have been another way to peek into their lives.
Absolutely. Writing for them wasn't just about recording stuff, it was an art form.
Really?
Yeah. The Maya developed this intricate system of hieroglyphs to record their history, myths, all their knowledge. Imagine the stories those hieroglyphs could tell.
I know, it's incredible.
Each inscription, each symbol holds a piece of their past, just waiting to be, deciphered.
And it's amazing how much we've learned from deciphering them. It also connects to another cool part of their story. Going from hunter-gatherers to city dwellers.
No, that was a transformation. It wasn't overnight, though. It took centuries, and there were distinct periods. The pre-classic, classic, and post-classic.
Okay, break those down for us.
Sure. So during the pre-classic, we see agriculture emerging, pottery, and the beginnings of a social hierarchy. That period set the stage for the amazing cities that would pop up later.
You're talking about the classic period, right? The time of Tikal and all those other incredible cities?
Exactly. This period, which was roughly from 250 to 900 AD, that was the peak of Maya civilization. Think big urban centers, advanced political systems, long-distance trade, and just a flourishing of art, architecture, and all things intellectual.
It's hard to imagine just how advanced they were. Can you paint a picture of daily life in, say, Tikal?
Okay, so picture this. Bustling marketplaces packed with goods from all across the Maya world. You hear artisans working with jade and obsidian. You see the vibrant colors of textiles made by skilled weavers. The Grand Plaza would have been the heart of the city, a place for ceremonies, gatherings, you name it, even their ball games.
I can picture it.
And surrounding the plaza, towering temples, palaces all decked out in intricate carvings, and observatories where astronomer priests studied the movements of the heavens. And then, beyond the city center, you'd have homes of all sizes, housing everyone from farmers and merchants to nobles and priests.
Sounds like a real mix of culture and activity. It's amazing how, like, recent discoveries, especially of more hieroglyphs, have helped us understand these cities even better.
Absolutely. Each new discovery adds another piece to the puzzle. We're always learning more about their politics, social structures, beliefs, even individual stories. It's an ongoing journey of discovery, and it's super exciting.
It reminds us that history is always evolving as we find new evidence. And speaking of new chapters, our source mentions the arrival of Europeans and, well, the Spanish conquest. It seems like a major turning point for the Maya.
Oh, for sure. The arrival of Europeans in the 16th century, that changed everything. The Spanish conquest brought disease, warfare, and a complete disruption of their culture. It led to a huge population decline, and many cities were abandoned.
It's a reminder that civilizations can be fragile. But even with all that, the Maya people, they kept going, and their culture's legacy is still felt today.
Definitely. From math and astronomy to art and their deep connection to nature, the Maya left behind a rich heritage. And as we learn more about them, we keep finding ways they continue to inspire us.
It makes you think, though. What lessons can we learn from their rise, their achievements, and, their decline? And what parts of their culture, their ingenuity, their connection to nature, what can we apply to our modern world? Something to ponder as we wrap up this dive into the fascinating world of the Maya.